18th of December, Rabbi Levitt, Gemora.
Last year something changed.
Yeah, I hear the echo also.
Okay.
So do I. So do I. So do
Okay, is that better?
Speak again, please.
Is that better now?
Yes, it is.
I. Yes.
Okay. All right, so we got up to Ibishumha Lokashia. I did mark it off. I have no idea what that's talking about. But we're talking over here about the oh yes, we're talking over here about the B'nai Marava. And yeah, all right. So we read these words, they'll be practically worthless just by themselves. We won't have any idea what they're saying. Maybe we have to go back. Let's go back to
Bless you.
Thank you.
let's go back to okay, let's just go back to Amar Mar.
On page
Amar Mar Lokeach Sada B'Shem Reish Galusa.
102B5, left-hand column, second paragraph. The Gemora incorporates.
Okay.
that's where I'm marked.
Okay, so let's read this over again. And we call upon Alan to start the reading for us. Please, Alan.
Okay. The Gemara incorporates Rab Shesh's interpretation into the text of the Brisa, and then draws inference from it. Omar, the master said, in effect, in the Brisa just cited, Lokeach, the Sodor, B'Shem, Resh Galusor, Ain Kofin Oso, Re Galusor, Limkor. If one buys a field from his fellow in the name of the Resh Galusa, we do not force him, i.e., the Resh Galusa, to sell the field to the buyer. Miklo, the Miknor, Kanayor, Lay. Now, this implies that the buyer did indeed acquire the field. Lemor, Pelino, Libor, Divne, Maror. Let's say that this disputes the opinion of those in the West. The Omre, Bechi, Me, Hor, D, Chiton, Shiene, Chiton, Bias, who says, but who notified the owner of the wheat to transfer the wheat to the homeowner, i.e., the owner of the money?
Right. Okay, so basically what we have over here is the Gemara has quoted this Brisa with the with the story with the person who wanted to buy a field, and he invoked the name of the Reish Galusa. He says he's buying for the Reish Galusa. He says he's buying this property for the Reish Galusa. So the Brisa says that the Reish Galusa cannot be forced to it says he cannot be forced to sell it, so to speak, to the lokeach, to the one that made the purchase. And so the Gemora concludes from over here that this brisa does not agree. It differs with the statement of Bnei Marava. And we'll just over again. What exactly is it that Bnei Marava said, and what exactly do we see from this brisa which contradicts what Bnei Marava said? So
before you do that, can I just ask a question on the Bryce itself?
Yeah.
This statement, Miklal demikna kanya lay. My English says it means this implies that he did acquire. I don't understand why it implies that. It implies that the buyer acquired the field because we don't make the Reish Galusa sell it to him. I don't get the logic there.
Okay. So we have a Rashi over here. In the Ktov Reish Galusa. Right. What the Gemara? Okay, let's just say step one is what does the Gemara learn over here? Let's just clarify what the Gemara is learning from this brisa. The Gemara is learning from this brisa, Machlal, the Makna Kanya Le. The brisa implies that the seller of the property, the owner of this field, certainly was makna the field to the lokeach and not to the Reish Galusa. That's what it implies. That's what the words of the Gemara mean.
Right.
Okay. So that contradicts what the Bnei Marava hold.
But I don't understand the statement that you just made. That this means that the buyer purchased the field, not the Reish Galusa.
Right. The seller.
Why does that mean the Reish Galusa purchased the field?
Oh, so you want to know why it is? Okay.
Read note 37, explains it. 37.
I read 37. I don't think it explains it.
Well, his transaction was effective in accordance with his true unspoken intent to acquire the field for himself.
Yeah, why?
Then it says he's merely unable to procure the documentation that he preferred to have. So there's two reasons why it ends up being that way.
Right. It says his transaction was effective in accordance with his true unspoken intent to acquire the field for himself. Why?
Yeah.
Why is that?
So the reason why is because this price, we said, I think Rashi said it, or somebody said it, I said it. This brisa, this brisa holds that the one who owns the property and who is selling the property, who does he sell the property to? Who does he sell it to? Who does he have intent to sell it to? According to the brisa, we see that he has intent to sell it to the one whose money is buying the property. That's the one that he sells it to. It goes according to the money. Am I frozen now?
No, you're not frozen. I'm hearing you.
Oh, okay.
You said it goes according to the money.
Right.
So how does the seller know whether the money is the money of the Reish Galusa or the money of the person who's standing in front of him?
It makes no difference. He knows. What does he know? He knows that somebody's money is buying this field. And the one whose money is buying this field, that's the one that he's selling it to.
And I think
He doesn't care whether this person is an agent. He doesn't care whether this person is the one that owns whose money it is. He sells it. He doesn't care. In other words, he doesn't care about all this talk that the guy is saying. Oh, I'm buying it for the Reish Galusa. He says to his thoughts are, I don't know if you know the Reish Galusa. I certainly don't know the Reish Galusa, and I don't care about the Reish Galusa at all. Whoever's money this is that you are giving me, that's the one who's going to own this property.
And I think the note explains it also. It says he's merely unable to procure the documentation that he'd prefer to have. So it's sort of a question mark.
Okay, so this that the Brisa says that the Reish Galusa is not going to be able to be forced to write a document to the Lokeach. That's where the Gemora sees from the Brisa that this is what the Brisa holds.
So I would think the opposite. I would think that if the Brisa holds that the person who is standing in front of the seller is the one who acquires it, then the Reish Galusa would in fact have to be forced to write the document because that's the truth. Since he's not forced, I would say he doesn't own it. We don't know that the man who's standing there owns it.
Look, if the Lokeach was not the one that acquired the field, if he was not the one who acquired the field, right, and the one who actually acquired the field was the Reish Galusa, if that was what the Brisa held, then would it make sense for the Brisa to say that the Reish Galusa is not? We don't force the Reish Galusa to write this document to the Lokeach that he's the owner of the field. Why would we tell the Reish Galusa? Why would we force the Reish Galusa to write such a document and give it to the Lokeach if the Reish Galusa is the actual owner of the field?
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Since the Reish Galusa is the owner of the field, we don't make him write a document that says that the field is owned by the Lokeach.
Well, but what's it's like saying, why would the Brisa need to tell me something that doesn't need to be said? It's like saying, if Reuven sold the property to Shimon, Shimon cannot be forced to write a document which says that Levi is the purchaser of the field. Obviously, he's not required to write such a thing. Over here, the Gemora understands that there is some basis for saying that the Reish Galusa should have to be forced to write such a document. And that basis is precisely because of the fact that the Lokeach is the real owner of the field. And therefore, we don't want that there should be a confusion about who owns this field, and therefore, even though the Lokeach did not he did not say almanas in his discussion with the seller. Nevertheless, in order to avoid confusion as to who is the owner of this field, we don't want that the Reish Galusa should have any possibility of being able to people thinking or him being able to claim that he owns the field, because he has a document from the owner of the property who says that he sold the field to him. Rather, we want to avoid all confusion, and we want to have the Reish Galusa write a document that says that he's selling the property, so to speak, to the Lokeach, and now there won't be confusion as to who is the true owner of the property, because even the Reish Galusa, so to speak, deeded the property to the Lokeach. On that, the Brisa says
I
you
agree
can't
with
force
you.
him to do that.
I
Unless
agree with you. Therefore, we in the actual situation, we do in fact have confusion, because we don't have that document. Maybe I could reason that the Reish Galusa is the real owner. What's my raya? The Lokeach doesn't have any documentation that says he's the owner.
Well, see, we have to clarify two things. We have to clarify who is the actual owner of the property, and who is the one who seems to have a proof that he is the real owner of the property. The actual owner of the property is the Lokeach. He's the one that the seller sold the property to. But it looks like the Reish Galusa owns the property, because he has a. I mean, if the Lokeach would ever give him that document, I don't think he would ever give him that document. But there is a document that's around that's right. Who's holding this document is the Lokeach, right? The Lokeach said that he's acting on behalf of the Reish Galusa. He's buying the property for the Reish Galusa. So the seller is giving this document that lists the name of the Reish Galusa. He's giving it to who? He's not sending it to the Reish Galusa. He's giving it to this Lokeach that he's dealing with. So
you're talking about the receipt?
But
I think you froze, Rabbi. What document are you talking about? The receipt?
no,
What document are you discussing now?
this is the sale contract of the property.
The sale contract. So the seller writes a contract and gives it to the Lokeach, and the contract says, on this day, I received $1 million from Ploni, the Lokeach, for the purchase of this property by the Reish Galusa. Is that what it says?
Rashi says that we have to read the Rashi again. Rashi Dibra Maskil Halokeach Soda Mechavero B'Shem Reish Galusa.
Okay, let's try this one. Let's see where it goes, because it's weird, this whole concept of buying in the name of who's buying it and who is the racial Galusa come into this. He's buying it in the name of the Reish Galusa. Is Reish Galusa telling him to do it, or is he doing it and saying, I'm doing it, I'm buying it, but I'm giving it to the Reish Galusa? Okay, let's see. Sha'ama lo limkor. So he says to him, lemocher, to the seller, litzarach Reish Galusa, for the needs of the Reish Galusa. Ani lokcha, I purchased it. The nitgavein, and I intend lahatio ima. I don't know what the amor is. That I'm going to give it to.
Fear.
What?
Fear.
Fear. It is. Okay. Amor is enmity. Enmity is the actual word. Is what amor is.
No. Ema is fear.
Is fear. Okay,
Ava,
but how?
You're thinking of the word Ava. Ava
right.
means enmity. This is with a mem. Ema.
Lahatil is, and he intends to
put on him Ema.
Shalo Yitzelo, it shouldn't go on to him. Seeking the deal. The Hakatav HaMocher, it's written that the seller, a star, HaMechir, a star, a bill of sale, B'Shem Reish Galusa, in the name of the Reish Galusa.
Okay, so it's like I just said. It says, I'm selling the field to Ploni, the Lokeach, in the name of the Reish Galusa. So now Ploni has a document in his hand that says that the field is owned by the Reish Galusa. That's no good.
Right. So that's why. But why is it that we? Why is it no good?
Because we're saying that the field is actually owned by the Lokeach. In which case, we should force the Reish Galusa to write a document to the Lokeach that says, you are the owner of this field. Therefore, everything will be clear.
But you have to remember something, that when the Lokeach says Almanas, then we do force the Reish Galusa to do so.
What are you referring to?
That's the words of the Brisa. The Brisa says, "Halokeach sada b'shem chavero ein kofin oso limkor ve'im amar lo almanas." There's two halachas that are mentioned in the Brisa. We take a look at the Brisa Tana Rabbanan. Where's this start from over here? Tana Rabbanan is the second wide line, the beginning of the line. This is the Brisa that we're analyzing and saying that it contradicts and Marava. So there's two halachas in this Brisa. The first halacha that the Brisa says is that if he just says to the seller, if the Lokeach says to the seller of the property, he says, I'm buying this property for the needs of the Reish Galusa. If that's all he says, so then the din of the Brisa is ein koifino so limkor. We don't force the Reish Galusa to sell it to Lokeach. But then there's another halacha in the Brisa. The Brisa says ve'im amar lo almanas. But if this Lokeach says to the mocher almanas, and that means almanas, like Rashi explained. Rashi said almanas shichtov li reish galusa b'shmo l'shmi. I'm buying this property for the name of the Reish Galusa on the condition that the Reish Galusa writes to me from his name into name a star, a second document that deeds to me the property. So then we do force the Reish Galusa to write this document and sell him the property. So the only reason why we don't do this is because he didn't say almanas. But if he did say almanas, in other words, if he was clear with his words, so then we do force the Reish Galusa to write him such a deed.
So if he said almanas, that the Reish Galusa sell me the property, then it means that the Reish Galusa acquired the property from the seller and is required, because of the condition, to transfer that property to the lokeach. So if it doesn't say almanas, then you're saying it means that the Reish Galusa did not acquire it?
No, see, either way, we're saying that the lokeach was the one who acquired the property. That's what the Gemora understands. There's no doubt that the Gemora understands that this whole brisa, in both cases, whether he says almanas, whether he does not say almanas, the lokeach is the one who acquires the property. The only issue that the brisa is dealing with is whether the Reish Galusa has to write him this document. That's the whole issue of the brisa. But the Gemora is inferring from the brisa that the brisa understands that it's clear that the actual owner of the property, whether he says almanas to the seller or not, is the one who's the actual owner of the property is the lokeach. And therefore the Gemara says that this brisa differs with Bnei Barava. What's the difficult part over here? What's getting in the way of our understanding of this of what's going on over here is the intricacies with saying almanas and not saying almanas, and whether the Reish Galusa can be forced and whether he cannot be forced. But that is not the focus of what the Gemara is getting into over here. Even though it's true, Rashi is explaining those points, but you see from Rashi that Rashi is
Now you're frozen.
No, he's not frozen.
Not now. Okay. Before he was.
Okay. Let's see what maybe they have a note here that helps me to explain this over here. I have been unsuccessful to explain it so far. You want to know where did the Gemara see from this brisa that Mikna Kanya lay, that the seller surely sold it to the lokeach? Where do we see that from? such
That's
that the
right.
Gemora concludes that this is a kasha on Bnei Marava, who say that the seller has to be informed. That's the whole view of the Bnei Marava. They're the ones that say who told the seller that he's got to sell the property to the balabayas, the balamos. Who told him? He doesn't know that. And according to the Gemora, you see clearly from the Brisa that the seller doesn't need to know that. It makes no difference whether he knows it, because we say that the one who makes the purchase of the property, the one who is kohen of the property, is the balamos, and the seller whose money it is. It happens automatically that the one whose money it is the one that acquires the field.
Were you frozen? Oh, no, you're not.
No,
Okay.
no, I'm just. I would even go as far to say, seems to be what the note is saying over here, that even if the seller himself thinks that the lokeach is the one who is truly acting on behalf of the Reish Galusa, even if he thinks that, even if the mocher thinks that the lokeach is 100% on the up and up, and he's not making up any stories or anything, and he really is an agent of. Who's the one who's going to acquire the property? Not the Reish Galusa.
I understand that that's the halacha. What I don't understand is how we get that from this brisa.
How do we see that from the brisa? Well, what else should we? You want to say that the brisa proves that the Reish Galusa is the one that owns the property?
Yeah,
Why? Why does that prove that?
because we don't force him to sell it.
But why do we force him when he says Almanas?
Because that's a different case. When he said almanas, that established that there was a condition. He had to sign it over, so he does.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see the connection between the almanas case and this case. I'm sorry, but I'm just really confused here.
Okay, they bring another pshat over here from the Shach and the Taz. They say that these words, these words, the Makna Kanya, they don't say who it is, the one who acquired it. Clearly, we're saying that it refers to the Lokeach. That the seller sold it and the Lokeach acquired it, but they hold that the das of the mocher was holech al reish galusa. Uladaita medubar shalokeach beemes kana avur reish galusa. According to the Shach and the Taz, they don't explain like Rashi. They are cholek on Rashi. They say that the Lokeach is saying he's buying it for the Reish Galusa because he is buying it for that's the truth. He's telling the truth. The emes kona avur Reish Galusa. But daito haisa shachakach yiknehu mimenu esakarka. But his thinking, the thinking is that after the Reish Galusa acquires it, he wants to acquire it from the Reish Galusa so that he ends up at the end of the day, the Lokeach, with the Karka. Limkor hu lo hodia. Shehu kone avur Reish Galusa. Ulamocher hu lo hodia. And he did not inform the mocher that he is buying it for the Reish Galusa. Therefore, the Gemora concludes Machlal she'ein hareish galusa kona es asoda v'shmiu lanu abraisa she'ein lekofo limkor hazara es akarka lelokeach v'zeh shalok b'nei marava, and that's not like b'nei marava. Why? Kevin l'shita sam, according to their view, hareish galusa eino kona es akarka af shedas hakona Haisa liknoslo. Kevin shelo yoda mocher shalokea kona aburo. Oh boy. Okay, so this is just complicating things and making things even more confusing. Okay. There's a confusion over here about how the mechanics of this case are really working. Whether it's the whether the Lokeach is initially acquiring the property, like Rashi explains, or whether the Reish Galusa is actually acquiring the property initially. That's how the Shach and the Taz are understanding. But then he asks the kasha on his own pshat. In Kain Kushisa Gemora Kasher, Gam al Rabbi Yochanan, Lo Rak al Bnei Marava, Shrei Lo Nechlaku Le'el Ela Keshashliach Eno Balamos. The whole machlokes between Rabbi Yochanan and the Bnei Marava was only in a case where the agent who was coming to deal with the seller was not the one whose money that it was. Ela habal bayis. The money that was in the hands of the shliach, that was the agent that was dealing directly with the seller, was the money of the sender, of the balabayis, who's not there. And in that case, Sober Rabbi Yochanan shelo olam das hamocher lehaknos lebalamos. In that case, specifically, the Rabbi Yochanan stated that always the das of the mocher is to sell the property to the one who has the money. Aval Khan over here, shalokeach hu atzmo balamos. Here you have both. You have both things. The lokeach is the agent, and he's the one who's dealing directly with the mocher, and also it's his money that he's using. So it's not really exactly like the case that the Bnei Marava and Rabbi Yochanan were talking about. They were talking about a case with person number two has the money. He gives it to person number two. Person number one gives to person number two person number one's money and says, "Go negotiate a deal for the selling of the barley or the wheat."
Time is up, Rabbi, sorry.
Okay, wow. Okay, everybody have a great day and a happy Hanukkah.
Hanukkah Sameach.
Rishon, Bezrat Hashem.
Everybody, Hanukkah Sameach.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Bye, bye, bye. Thank you.
Okay.